Obviously, a different role for you in practice. You're more floating between groups instead of just being with the safeties and nickels. In your opinion, how's it going so far?
It's going well. I'm trying to. I'm just walking around bugging other position coaches. And I don't think it's gotten to the point where they're like, "Oh, here he comes." But right now it's something. It's a new adjustment, but it's been really good.
And speaking about the adjustment, obviously so many new faces on defense, even compared to offense. I know it's a little too early maybe to make a sweeping judgment, but you've been pleased so far with the newcomers just hitting the ground running.
Yeah, it's still early, and we're really focused on the install. We've had a chance to watch a lot of these guys move around even prior to coming out here, so we knew who they are really athletically. We're just seeing if they can get the install, understand what they're doing, how to do it, and then why they're doing it. And the sooner that they're able to do that, the faster they're able to play. So it's really a mindset, and we try to train that mindset just in our teaching progression and then our coaching progression out on the field, and try to make it as seamless as possible. So each day those guys can come in, know what to expect. So when they come out on the field, they get a play call, they know what to do and how to do it and why they're doing it.
Coach Meat and Gibbs are extremely experienced coaches. Theoretically, what should that be able to do in terms of freeing you up or allowing you to have more time on other things?
Yeah, the more experience that you have with guys like that, guys that have been in the fire, they've coached all different types of athletes, they've evaluated and coached and developed all different types of athletes. So anytime you're able to get that kind of experience in the room, you learn to be a better listener. You learn to be, you learn to let them do what they're going to do. And just the challenge for me is finding the non-negotiables in terms of here's our system, here's what we do, here's how we do it, here's why we're doing it, and getting those guys to understand that. But in terms of their experience, I'm doing more learning and watching than I'm doing teaching, because from a defensive standpoint, what we do is what we do, and it's pretty hard, fast, and concrete, and I have a vision for what the defense is supposed to look like, and we're just taking each day to get on the same page. But I couldn't be more pleased right now with the development of both those rooms.
And Coach, from the install part, like you said, obviously guys understand the why. How do you feel that the guys that have returned, that have been used to you for a while, the guys like the Rodneys that have been here but have helped the new guys, and then just even their little, I know it's early on, but their adjustments so far, how do you feel that
But like I said, I think everything's just going really, really smooth, and I think the mixture of guys that have been here and that know what the expectation is and know and can anticipate the install, the big learning curve for them is getting adjusted to the teaching techniques and the teaching that those that Coach Gibby and Coach Meat are bringing into those rooms, and which is going to make both those rooms even better and continue to move forward. And change at sometimes isn't always good, but these changes are going to make us better.
Building off of that, how have you seen Rodney grow as a player and a person from last spring to this spring?
Yeah, first off, we've only 2 practices in, and he's running around in t-shirt and shorts, but so his development as a player is yet to be seen. But as a person, you just see the maturity level when you lose guys like Keith and Javen out of that room. He's been able to learn from guys who started, the most part of the last 27 games. They've had great leadership in that room, and so him being able to imitate and be able to learn from those guys' influence has been able to really you can see the maturity. It's really, he's taken the attitude that this is his time to really show what he can do, and the opportunities now for him.
Longer bodied guys in the secondary, the transfer and high school guys. What should that be able, when those guys are up to speed, what should that be able to do for you?
Well, what we are on defense, is who we are, is what we are. We're zone first defense, and the longer you get, it takes away that space. And whether you're talking 1 inch or 8 inches, it's it doesn't matter. So it has a huge effect on what we do and how we try to model our scheme off our personnel. And we really are. We're a team that every year we're going to adapt to what we feel like our scheme, what our personnel allows our scheme to do. So it's still, each practice we're learning more and more about this group. Excited to see the development next week.
Coach Kinney said the other day that CJ was really the only guy that he had up to talk to the team in meetings, and because he's really the only guy on the leadership council coming back. Just how massive has it been for him to make the return, and have you seen any major strides from him as a vocal leader?
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy too. You can't, like, you can develop leadership, and usually leadership is influence. So he's been influenced by different people, in his life to make him the leader that, that he really is right now. And I think as a staff and Coach Dillingham, they're really pushing him to be that leader. And really, he has a ceiling here. We want him to get to that ceiling, if not push past it. And we're going to challenge him. And but I will tell you that we have some guys that are older guys that have played a lot of college football that I think they're chomping at the bit to get into that leadership world. They're just waiting for them. They're waiting for that time where they just feel comfortable enough to do it. And I think that time will come sooner than later. I think that we're gonna have a really good leadership and a nucleus of leadership to be able to lead the locker room once we're not around.
It's like
how weird is it to see Clayton over on offense?
Yeah, I got no comment on that. So, we'll see how that goes.
A lot of guys.
But you got a big athlete like that. I mean, and I see the vision, and there's really not a whole lot of things he can't do. So I'm excited to see what he does over on that side of the ball. But don't be, I'm not gonna say anything.
Don't be too good, right?
I'm not gonna say. Yeah, exactly.
Coach, we're over here at Abdi for Devils in Detail. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice
So
to meet
there are guys from the past like Keith Abney, who is also one of the prospects of this year's NFL draft,
Yep.
in attendance today. What type of advices do they give to the current players as well?
Those guys, their influence on the program. A guy like Keith who came in here as a true freshman. Just is who he is, and his habits are going to make him successful no matter whatever he does. And guys like that are always going to have influence on the people that really want to be their very best. The guys that don't want to be their best, they don't pay attention to guys like that. But leadership, I'll keep saying it, is influence, and leadership is usually learned by someone that influences that leader to be somebody. And Keith has been that guy. And we lost several leaders, off the football team from in the last few years, but there's no guy that you can talk higher about in terms of habits, how he lives his life on and off the field, and just excited to see what happens on draft day for him and where he ends up. He's like the uncuttable guy. Whatever program or organization that he's in, they're going to just see who he is. He's going to make that program better.
Another guy who was here was Justin Wadley. A lot of the younger defensive linemen were proactively coming up to him and asking for advice. What was it like having him here as well?
It's great. It's great to see him. The energy that he brings, and it's another guy that came here as a transfer. He was a very, very strong personality, to say the least, and strong-willed guy. But when he really bought in, you saw his development and what he did the last 7-8 games of last year. I've said it once, said it 100 times. I wish we had him for at least another year. It would have been great to have him for 4 years to see what he could have done. But just really another guy that I'm just excited to see where he lands on draft day, and whatever organization he lands with, he's going to make that organization better.